Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I am super stoked because we are doing a tag video. I love tags and I know that they are not quite as popular here on YouTube as they used to be, but I love it when a good tag comes across my feed because I feel like they are really fun, and I have my good friend Ruth to thank for this tag. She thought up all of these questions and I'm really excited to get into it. But before we do, if this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. I do tons of project panning and beauty content in general, so if that is something that you are into, you are definitely in the right place. And for all of my returning friends, welcome back. I love all of your faces and I am so thrilled that you are here. And please, everyone, consider yourself tagged. Let's bring back the tag video, shall we? So as I said, Ruth is the one that thought up all of the questions in this particular tag. She named this the Project Panner Tag 2022. She does, however, acknowledge that other people have done similar tags over the years, but she thought up all of these questions, and that's what we're gonna do today. So the first question is, easiest category to pan. I would say for me, that would have to be concealers. I do really well with concealers because I use them so much, and when I use a concealer, I'm good at just powering through it. Unlike other categories, I don't usually change concealers to fit each look. It's usually just one concealer and then moving on to the next, or like I'm doing right now, having to kind of cocktail them together. So I think for me, that's probably the easiest category to pan. I would like to say mascaras, but I don't typically put a mascara into a project because I don't find them as fun to update and you can't see the progress and stuff like that. So for me, I would say probably concealers are going to be the easiest for me to pan. The hardest category to pan, blush. Blush. No other answer in the world can possibly exist for me. Blush. Anyone that actually can not only hit pan on blush and actually finish a blush, like, I bow down because that is impossible in my life. Like, that is one of the things that astounds me so much. I think definitely an easy second place to this question would be lip products. Especially things like liquid lipsticks, bullet lipsticks, things like that. Like, I am in true awe at the end of the year when I watch through people's like year of empties and they just have mountains of lip products. That to me is always astounding. So I would say both of those, blushes for sure, but also for me, lip products. A product that you flew through. There have been a few of these that I've gone through really quickly. The one that really comes to mind first is from Makeup Revolution, their concealer that I think was marketed as kind of a dupe for the Shape Tape. I'll pop a picture up. I went through that at a shocking pace to the point where when I realized it was gone, I was actually traveling for work. I had no backups. I had no idea that I was even running low. Just literally, it was working one day and gone the next. It was wild. So that is definitely one that I flew through. I'm flying through the powder I'm working on right now, which is super surprising because I never fly through powder. But yeah, that Makeup Revolution concealer is the one that really sticks out to me because it was shocking. It was shocking. Number 4, a product that you lost the will, so it took so long to pan. You know, I run into that kind of on and off when project panning just because I project pan so much, and there have definitely been products that I get really kind of frustrated when I don't see progress quickly enough. I think one of the things that comes to mind was the first year that I did pan those eyeshadows. There were 2 eyeshadows in my BH Cosmetics, it's my Ray Ray palette, that took me an eternity to even hit pan on one of them. It was literally, that palette was the reason that I now have that 30 use stipulation that gives me the ability to roll it out. Because especially with it being one of my first projects, I was very new to panning. I was like, I must hit the goal that I set for myself. And I had that palette, that specific shade, was an orange shade. I'm pretty sure it was called Spice. It was literally in my project for 6 months easily. And when I finally hit the babiest of pans, I cannot tell you how excited I was because I was finally gonna get to roll that out. And then I think the next update, I rolled in like a tomato red shade that was also in that palette. And I felt so incredibly demoralized because it had taken me so long with the orange shade, and now there was like a red shade. Yes, so that is definitely the one that comes first and foremost to mind, because what I've learned about panning is that while yes, rules are important and guidelines are important, you really need to allow yourself the flexibility to pan your way. So whether it's in the rules or not, if you only want to use something 30 times and then decide if you want to roll it out to keep things fresh and moving, do it. Tailor any of these projects to really work for you. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in scenarios where they work against you, like I found with that particular eyeshadow. A product you won't let beat you. That's a good one. I would probably say my IT Cosmetics Potted Concealer that has been in multiple projects over the years because it only takes the smallest amount. I have hit pan on it. My goal this year is to hit side pan on it. It will probably be in projects for years to come, but I am determined to finish that off because I will not let it beat me. It's a good product, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that's one that comes to mind first and foremost. I don't typically feel like I'm in competition with my products, but I do find myself, especially when I get closer to the end and I'm just really ready to be done with it, having those types of feelings like I'm gonna conquer this, I'm gonna win. But throughout the majority of the projects, I typically don't feel that way, but I do certainly feel that way about that concealer because it's just daunting. It just is, it's daunting. Number 6, the easiest shadow formula to hit pan on, matte versus shimmer. I struggled with this. I thought about this a lot because I'll be honest, the color of it makes a big difference, but I think what I settled on overall, and this may be a controversial opinion, but I would say shimmers are the hardest formula to pan, only because you can typically only wear them with a couple of different eye looks, versus a matte, which you can more often than not kind of integrate more into looks. So I would say that mattes for me are a little bit easier to pan than shimmers. But again, it's really dependent upon the color, because if you've got a really like versatile, let's say kind of champagne-y sort of shimmer that can go with a ton of stuff, well then that's gonna be a lot easier to pan than say a matte red eyeshadow. So I do definitely think that color makes a big difference, but I'm just trying to think of my makeup collection overall, and I do believe that I have more pan in mattes than I do in shimmers. I'm actually curious now. Once all my makeup's unpacked, if I can remember, I might have to look through that because now I'm super curious. But yeah, I think mattes for me are easier to hit pan on than shimmers. Best alternate use to pan a product faster. This is a hard question for me because I'm not typically one to double duty things. I know a lot of people will take, for instance, a shimmer and use it as a highlighter or an eyeshadow and use it as like a bronzer or blush, which are all really good things. Don't get me wrong, there's literally nothing at all wrong with that. I'm just usually panning so many things that if I'm using a product other than its sort of marketed purpose, then I'm taking away from another product in another project. So I don't tend to multi-use quite as much, but I would say, in my opinion, just academically speaking, the best alternate use is when you use eyeshadows as nail polishes. I've only done that once or twice. I have not yet gotten kind of the right technique down for making it look good, or maybe the right kind of combination of colors. Rebecca Morgan has a fantastic sort of tutorial on that, so certainly check it out. I'll try to link it in the description box below because it's super helpful and very informative, but I know a lot of people will hit pan much more quickly when using eyeshadows as nail polish. So I would say, just academically speaking, that is probably, in my opinion, the best alternate use for sure. Number 9, the best project panning tip or trick to use up a product. So this is not really a tip or trick for a specific product, but I would say what I've learned the most over the years project panning is, regardless of the prompt, especially this is true when it comes to like randomized prompts and things like that, pick products that you like. Pick products that you like. I have found quite a few occasions where I've picked something because it fills a prompt need, but that I don't particularly enjoy the product itself, or it doesn't have the kind of versatility that is needed for a project pan, and I'm just setting myself up for failure, and then I get frustrated with myself for not hitting the goals that I put in front of myself, even though if I take a step back and I look at it objectively, I was never gonna hit that goal. It just wasn't gonna happen. So especially if you are new to project panning, it is my personal opinion to choose items that you enjoy and that are versatile enough that you can get a lot of good use out of them. So we'll talk again about that red matte eyeshadow. For most people, that's not something that they're gonna get use on a daily basis with. So that would be a difficult item to bring into a project and say to hit pan or use in 100 usage goal or something like that. Like, for me, that would be setting myself for a complete failure. Whereas bringing in, I don't know, like a green, which seems like it would be just as difficult, but greens are in my wheelhouse, so I would get a lot more use out of them. So just try to think about what it is that you enjoy and try to bring those in, and I feel like you'll have a lot more success. Now, that's not to say that there aren't people that are incredibly successful hate panners, and my hat is 100% off to them. I don't know how they do it because I am not built that way. I have tried, and for me, life is too short to use stuff that I don't enjoy. So I'm a terrible hate panner, but just know that there are people out there that are amazing at it. So, you know, just do what feels right. That's what we're gonna go with. Do what feels right. All right, so number 10, what project panning has taught you? Project panning has taught me a ton. I love project panning. You guys know that. I jump into so many because there are so many just amazing and creative projects out there. And one of the things that it has taught me is what a beautiful community the panning community is. It is so just supportive and kind and wonderful. Like, that to me is probably one of the best lessons to learn, is when you find yourself in a place where you feel just really accepted and supported and you feel like you can thrive. That in and of itself is amazing. But I think what the question is really asking is a little bit more literal. And that is just, it reinforces regularly just how long it takes to use up makeup. I am definitely someone who buys more makeup than I need. I'm 100% transparent about that. And I don't care because I love makeup and I do want to make sure that I'm utilizing it. But project panning really does help to reinforce just how long it takes to use something up. And I think that for me, at least, that really helps me when I am buying makeup, looking at things more critically and thinking to myself, okay, you love this. It's beautiful. Why? Why do you love it? What is it that's really speaking to you? And realistically, do you already have something just like it or similar enough that you can apply the love and desire that you are feeling for this new product to something else? Some of my favorite videos are people that are duping new releases and things like that, because it just, again, it further highlights how much just duplicitness, is that really how I want to use that word? But kind of lack of creativity and something being new. Like the makeup that is being released, especially mainstream makeup, it's just repackaging of the same stuff that they've sold over and over and over again. Of course, that's also why I own so much indie makeup, because they are innovative and they are interesting and they are new. But that's more me rambling now. But I think that that is probably my biggest takeaway from project panning for sure, is just to be more aware of everything because it does take so long to use up makeup. Super rambly, I apologize. Okay. And then product you are proudest of panning. And I think for me that is the Becca, ooh, I can't remember what it was technically called. It was one of their bronzers, but I finished the whole bronzer and that felt incredible. That felt incredible, panning an entire bronzer. I feel like that to date is my biggest sort of panning achievement because that was really a cool moment. I definitely have some things that are on like my panning bucket list, you know, panning an entire palette, like an actual palette. I'm still slowly working away at my tiny pans, but to actually pan an entire like full-size actual palette would be amazing. Panning an entire blush would be amazing. Panning a full-size highlighter would be amazing. Like any of those sort of really full-size things that just take forever, I think would be great. But at this point in time, that bronzer is my biggest achievement and I'm very proud of that. I kept to the packaging because I was so proud of it. There we have it. That is the Project Panner tag that was created by Ruth. She will be linked in the description box below so that you can check her out if you've not seen her before. She is a absolutely darling, wonderful Irish woman and she cracks me up. She is so sweet and so wholesome. Definitely check her out if you have not discovered her yet. And certainly if you search this hashtag, you will be able to find more people that are going to be doing this tag. And again, I tag all of you because I want to bring the tag back. Can that be like the slogan for 2022? I know we're like halfway through it already, but let's bring back the tag, please and thank you. As always, everything that I'm wearing is going to be linked in the description box below. And if you have not yet subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing so. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.